tomorrow's our anniversary. Look where Jesse brought me to shop. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Pulled pork. Lots of beaver nuggets. We're in Beaumont, Texas. This is Forest Lawn Cemetery. And we are here to see the gravesite of J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper. For those of you that don't know, he died in the plane crash with Buddy Holly and Ritchie Valens. We visited the plane crash site in Iowa several months ago. And since we were in the area and just found out that we were so close, we had to stop to pay our respects to the Big Bopper. It's a nice cemetery. Nice tree. And a really nice little memorial sign. So we've seen 2 of the 3 because we saw Buddy Holly's gravesite several years ago. Doubt we'll ever see Ritchie Valens because he is buried somewhere, I can't remember now, in California.
Buddy Holly was in Lubbock.
Yep,
Texas.
Buddy Holly's in Lubbock, Texas. Which we do show his gravesite in our video where we visit the crash site in Iowa. Seems a lot of people have visited the Big Bopper. Time for some lunch. We're stopped in the middle of nowhere in Texas. Gonna warm up some refried beans and have some bean burritos. Okay, we are in another cemetery. This one is in Houghton, Louisiana. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced. A little bit outside of Shreveport. We are here to pay respects to a specific person that is buried in this little tiny cemetery. Some pretty old tombstones in here. And there's our destination right there. Joe Delaney played for 2 years, 81 to 83, for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a running back.
Yes.
They got him in the draft. And he was spending some time in 1983 in Monroe, Louisiana, which I believe is where he lived at the time. And he was at like an amusement park type place, and there was a hole that had been dug. It was full of water. It was about 2 acres big. It was for looks, basically, and 3 children were in that water and were drowning. And Joe, regardless of knowing the fact that he could not swim himself, jumped in to save those children, and he drowned. And one of the children made it out. One was recovered with Joe Delaney's body from the water, and one was rushed to the hospital and died later. He was given the Presidential Citizens Award from President Ronald Reagan. He was awarded and honored, and organizations were created, and just all kinds of things after his passing. There's an organization in Kansas City that I forgot the name of it. It was 37 Forever, something like that, yeah. And they partner with the American Red Cross to help underprivileged children learn how to swim. So that's kind of a neat organization. But there's so many things that came out of his passing that was created that, you know, it was really pretty neat. I don't remember him playing. I wasn't like a big football fan then. But you remember him a little bit, right?
Barely, because I mean, when he was playing, I was like 5 and 6. So I remember more of my dad was a huge Joe Delaney fan. And I mean, I know some of the sports pundits back in the day was comparing him to Gale Sayers. If you're a football fan, you know that name. But you know, he never got to prove it really. But he is, the uniform number 37 is not officially retired, but nobody has ever wore it since. So it's kind of off.
And he is in the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame.
Oh, in the Ring of Fame.
Ring of Fame. Thank you.
His name's up on the ring.
Yeah.
So.
What an amazing, selfless act, though. I think he definitely deserves all the honors and awards that he was given. We're making another cemetery stop. I don't know which way we're supposed to go down here. We're still in Houghton, Louisiana. We're about 8 miles from the last spot we were at. And we are stopping to see the gravesite of Johnny Horton. Some of you are probably like, who is that? But I bet a lot of you know who Johnny Horton is. Or you've heard his songs. Battle of New Orleans, you know, in 1814. I can't sing it all or I'll get a copyright strike. Also did North to Alaska, Sink the Bismarck. Johnny passed away at the age of 35. He left one location, was headed to a gig somewhere around Shreveport, I believe. Was on Highway 79 when he was hit head-on by a drunken driver. He was still alive when the ambulance arrived, but he did pass away en route to the hospital.
That's the highway.
That is the highway. So the cemetery is right on the same highway that he died on. Very sad. Got a nice little memorial here for him though. But since we were really close by after seeing Joe Delaney's, we figured we should probably stop and see this one too. We're at the Shiloh Baptist Church Cemetery, looking for another famous grave site. That of Leadbelly, who was a blues singer in the, I forgot the year, long time ago. Now, I would not have known who Leadbelly was if not for Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, who did a cover of Leadbelly's cover of Where Did You Sleep Last Night? The song was originally, I believe, titled In the Pines or something like that. An old folk song. And Leadbelly redid it, made it very bluesy, and Kurt Cobain liked it. And he ended up singing it on the...
Unplugged in New York.
Yeah, Unplugged in New York. MTV's Unplugged in New York. This is a really nice memorial here. This one's fancy. Now, he was in and out of prison a few times. Murder, attempted murder. You can look it up, but he was in Rikers Island, and what was the other one I said? Angola? Is that how you pronounce it? And a Texas penitentiary, and I don't know, the governor of Texas, I think it was, pardoned him because he wrote the governor a song. So that's pretty amusing, but times were a little different back then. Probably one of the nicest that we've seen so far, other than maybe Jim Reeves. His was really nice. That's in a previous video if you want to go back and check that one out.
As much as I can, because I still work full time, so and we go see stuff and different sites and just all kinds of stuff, build stuff. I made a camper out of a cargo trailer, and I'm just doing stuff.
Well, we tell people, even when kids come, this is a hands-on museum. And
that was being painted for Ricky. His fiance was getting that for him. That's the plane. And the guy was actually painting on it when he heard that the plane had crashed.
It weighs about 500 pounds, but it's still not fragile. That came out of the Red River just north of here.
I remember hearing this on the radio.
A boy here in town, we keep seeing it. It's turned upside down.
Broke my heart.
He would see it. And he
Wanted to marry Ricky Nelson. I know he had a fiance, but that's not the point. I was a child.
Down here we have Diane. We don't have much that belong to Diane except this was his house there.
This is the tail of the plane. This is pretty much all that was left of the plane.
Everybody that knew him, now he left here when he was about 6. But
There have been some really amazing people donate money and objects, things like show tickets and record albums, and just amazing. A young lady made that large picture in the middle right there. Those are all little squares of paper. She did an amazing job on that.
Have you ever heard of
just went and visited his grave.
Okay.
That would come back.
Good. I started about 6 months ago, the first time there.
Yeah.
Well, Red lived here too for a while. He, actually, while he was living here, he killed a man and went to a prison farm north of here. But it's about 10 miles north of town. But anyway, he lived here. He wrote a song called The Cat Blues because he had some rough times while he was here. And this is his daughter.
We're in the same museum, and we're gonna check out Dan Blocker. You probably know him as Haas on Bonanza. He was actually born here in DeKalb, Texas. I think I forgot to mention we're in DeKalb, Texas. That's where Ricky Nelson's plane crashed in a field. But Dan Blocker was born here, and he is actually buried here. This is the Williams House Museum. If you are in DeKalb, Texas, you want to stop here and check this place out. Amazingly friendly, full of information, and just really, really great museum.
His brother was a mason here in town. So, you know, we got quite a bit.
Yeah, I was looking at the... I got all the Dan Blocker stuff there.
Okay.
My mom loves Bonanza, of
Well,
course,
that's supposed to be a
so
life-size Dan.
this is cool, guys. No, a lot of you are Elvis fans.
You see Elvis. She bought a record, just 45. He put it on her shoulder and signed it, and she sold it on eBay a few years ago. I could have killed her. I mean,
Right?
we needed it here. And we had the museum at the time. His wife was from Paris, and she came here, and she said, we own 2 homes. She came here settling up his estate and everything, and she said, we own 2 homes, one here and one in Paris, France. So, well, that was kind of neat.
I had no idea. I didn't know
Well,
that.
he owned
That's
land
interesting.
all over East Texas. He was from East Texas.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I knew
But I know who he is.
Well, yeah, if you like Mustangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Prettiest car
who
ever
doesn't?
made.
I mean,
Yeah.
right? That's cool. There it is. Resting place for Dan Blocker. Haas from Bonanza. So if you come to DeKalb, Texas, you've got to go to that museum. There is so much more there than what I even showed on the video. They have an amazing history in this town. And then make sure you swing by the cemetery and pay Dan a visit.